Hey there, I'm Nathan, or you can just call me Just a Dude, and welcome back to Just a Dude Podcast, where everyday people like you and me talk about what's important. Today is Friday, February 14th, 2025, and it's time for our weekly news update. We're diving into the whirlwind news that hit the U.S. this past week, from Trump's second term causing ripples to the lighter side of life with a dog show winner. We've got it all covered, so let's jump in. Well, folks, Donald Trump is back in the White House, and as we have seen on previous Just a Dude in the News episodes, he's not wasting any time making headlines. His approach to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict has everyone talking this week. Trump announced he has had a call with Vladimir Putin, promising immediate negotiations to end the war. This is something we called out on last week's episode because Trump did say that he would end the war within 24 hours of his inauguration, and that has yet to be seen. So it is nice to at least see him trying to negotiate peace in Russia and Ukraine. Now, this move has sparked a lot of debate. Critics argue this could mean recognizing Russian annexations, while supporters see it as a step towards peace. It's a delicate balance, and the world is watching closely. What's clear is that Trump's foreign policy is taking a sharp turn from the previous administration's stance. But it's not just about foreign policy. Domestically, we've seen massive layoffs in federal agencies, a move Trump says is to streamline government. However, this has left thousands of civil service in limbo, raising questions about the efficiency and future of government services. This week has been a testament of how quickly Trump can shake things up, both at home and abroad. Whether this will lead to a new dawn or a dusk for Americans remains to be seen. Moving on, let's talk about Trump's love for tariffs, because it's back with a vengeance. He's announced new tariffs on aluminum and steel, with aluminum now facing a 25% rate. This isn't just a policy, it's a statement, one that could lead us into a trade war. The immediate impact? Canada is feeling the heat with its steel industry, and there's worry about retaliatory measures from other nations as well. This could mean higher costs for consumers, not just on big-ticket items like cars, but on everyday products. Economists are really split on this issue. Some argue it's a necessary step to protect American jobs, while others warn it could inflate prices and reduce competitiveness globally. It's a complex issue that goes beyond numbers. It's about the direction of our economy. This tariff policy isn't just about trade. It's a reflection of Trump's America First ideology. How this plays out in the global market will be something to watch closely. But one thing's sure is that he's trying to put America over other nations and ensure that trade is fair across the board. Well, there's some legal dramas that are in the White House as well, and they're never far from Trump's tenure, as we've seen in the past, and this week was definitely no exception. Steve Bannon, a former Trump advisor, pled guilty to fraud, adding another layer to the narrative of corruption around Trump's circle. However, Trump's supporters are skeptical that this was just another political witch hunt by the left. But beyond individual cases, there's a brewing constitutional crisis. Vice President J.D. Vance's statements and court decisions regarding Trump's compliance with legal orders are raising alarms. Is this the start of a constitutional showdown? And how constitutional are the orders from the judges at the lower courts? These courts are now at the center of this storm, with judges weighing in on whether Trump's actions are within his constitutional rights or stepping over the line. This isn't just legal jargon, it's about the checks and balances that define our democracy. And are these judges overstepping, or is Trump overstepping? I guess the courts will determine this. Let's move on to Elon Musk, who's now in charge of the new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. It's facing legal challenges as well. 14 state attorneys general are questioning his authority, leading to court actions that might bar his team from government systems. Musk's vision is to make government function like a well-oiled machine, but there's quite a bit of pushback, especially from the left. Critics argue that his approach might be too disruptive, potentially undermining government operations. The situation is a classic Musk move, bold, innovative, but not without controversy. How he navigates this will set a precedent for how private sector efficiencies can or cannot be applied to the government. It's an experiment in governance that could either revolutionize public services or become a cautionary tale. One thing's for sure, the DOGE team has definitely found a lot of waste in our government and spending things on foreign nations that we don't even offer to our own citizens here. So whether Musk is the answer or not, there's definitely proof that we need to clean up the government. Trump's promise of a smaller government has hit the ground running with mass layoffs in federal agencies. This isn't just about cutting jobs, it's about reimagining of what government should look like. The impact on services is a concern for most critics. With fewer people to run these agencies, will we see degradation in service quality or response times? It's a gamble Trump is willing to take, betting on a leaner, more efficient government. And based on the services we've received from the federal government, I'm not sure they can do much worse. Employees that were affected are scrambling, some finding new roles, others facing unemployment. This shift is reshaping the lives of many federal workers and their families. It's a bold move that could redefine government functionality, but at what cost? We'll keep an eye on how this plays out. After the release of wasteful spending from DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, these cuts could help alleviate a shadow government that was mismanaging our taxpayer dollars. Time will tell as the courts and everything else plays out in this matter. Well, the economy took a big hit this week with U.S. retail sales dropping sharply in January. This isn't just about less shopping, it's indicative of a broader economic health concern. Factors include rising prices due to tariffs and possibly a shift in consumer behavior towards saving rather than spending. This decline could signal a slowing economy, something policymakers will need to address. Businesses are now in a wait-and-see mode, adjusting strategies to cope with potentially lower demand. This could mean layoffs in the retail sector or more aggressive sales tactics. It's definitely a reminder that economic policies have real-world implications on everyday people, impacting everything from job security to the cost of living. Here's hoping that the policies that are put in place going forward will help us to live better lives here in the U.S. Let's switch to weather. On the weather front, Southern California is bracing for heavy rains, leading to evacuations in areas prone to debris flows. It's a stark reminder of how climate change can amplify natural disasters. Elsewhere, a cold blast is set to hit the central and eastern U.S., ending what was called a full spring. I'm not sure who had this full spring because I didn't see this here in Ohio, but this weather whiplash affects everything from the agriculture to energy consumption as we adjust to these abrupt changes. These events highlight our vulnerability to weather phenomena, urging better preparedness and perhaps a reevaluation of our environmental policies. This is definitely a week where Mother Nature has reminded us who's in charge. Now for something that strikes a chord with music lovers. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced its 2025 nominees. This year's list is a blend of rock legends, pop icons, and genre-defining artists. The nominees for induction this year include Chubby Checker, known for igniting dance floors with the twist; Outkast, the groundbreaking hip-hop duo with hits like Hey Ya; Mariah Carey, whose vocal prowess has dominated charts for decades; Fish, celebrated for their jam sessions and dedicated fan base; Billy Idol, the punk rock star with anthems like Rebel Yell; Joy Division, New Order, pioneers in post-punk and electronic music; Bad Company, classic rockers with timeless tracks like Feel Like Making Love; The Black Crowes, bringing back the rock of the 70s with Hard to Handle; Joe Cocker, whose soulful renditions, especially at Woodstock, are legendary; Cyndi Lauper, an icon of the 80s with Girls Just Wanna Have Fun; Monet, representing Latin rock; Oasis, the Brit pop band behind Wonderwall; Soundgarden, key players in the grunge movement with Black Hole Sun; The White Stripes, known for their raw garage rock sound in Seven Nation Army. These nominations show the diversity of musical influence from rock and roll's early days to hip-hop's dominance. It's a moment for fans to reminisce and for new generations to discover music history. The induction process itself is a cultural event, bringing together fans, artists, and critics in a shared love for music. This year's list is a testament to music's enduring power to connect us across generations. And now, for something completely different. Let's talk about Monty. Who's Monty, you ask? Monty's the giant schnauzer who won Best in Show at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. It's a story that captures the heart of pet lovers everywhere. Monty's win is not just about a dog, but about the dedication of his owners, the skill of his handlers, and the spirit of competition. It's a moment of pure joy in a world often bogged down by heavier news. This event reminds us of the simple pleasures in life, like watching dogs do what they do best, with grace and personality. It's these stories that keep our spirits up, proving that even in times of turmoil or stress, there's room for celebration and joy. Speaking of celebration and joy, let's dive into the heart of February, Valentine's Day. This day of love has a special way of warming up even the coldest winter days across America, bringing out stories of romance, sweet gestures, and a communal celebration of love in all its shapes and sizes. In the Big Apple, New York City was decked out like a scene from a romantic movie. Times Square was lit up with heart lights, and Central Park was the place to be for couples looking for a classic horse-drawn carriage ride. Restaurants from Brooklyn to Manhattan rolled out the red carpet with special Valentine's menus where love was in the air, or at least in the chocolate-dipped strawberries. Even the city that never sleeps seemed to take a breath, appreciating the love around every corner. But let's not forget about the heartland, where small towns like Lubbock, Texas, and Des Moines, Iowa, celebrated love in their own charming ways. Community centers turned into dance halls for all ages, celebrating not just romantic love, but the love for family and friends as well. Kids were busy at school crafting cards with more glitter than you can imagine, while community events like Valentines for veterans spread love and appreciation for those who served our country, reminding us that love knows no bounds. In the digital era, Valentine's Day has taken on new forms as well. Social media was buzzing with hashtags like #LoveWins and #Valentine's Day, where folks shared their love stories, virtual gifts, and even unique experiences over traditional gifts. It's a sign of the times where love is expressed through personalized digital art or subscriptions to experiences. But at the end of the day, whether it's through a simple text or an elaborate surprise, Valentine's Day 2025, as I see it, was all about cherishing the moments and the people we love, however we choose to celebrate. While Valentine's is a day of love, I encourage all of our listeners to show their love daily. Don't wait for a Hallmark holiday to let our loved ones know that they are loved. Love is an ongoing process that should be given and received daily, not just once a year. Finally, let's talk about President's Day coming up on Monday, February 17th. Now, for those of you who may not know, President's Day isn't just about sales on mattresses and furniture, although those are pretty sweet deals. It's actually a day to honor all who have served as President of the United States of America. This holiday, which was initially intended to commemorate George Washington's birthday, has evolved to celebrate the contributions of all U.S. presidents. It's a time to reflect on leadership, the decisions that have shaped our nation, and the diverse personalities that have occupied the White House. From Washington to the current President Trump, each one has left their mark on our history, for better or worse. But let's be real here. President's Day also gives us a chance to think about what it means to lead with integrity, to make tough calls, and to strive for unity despite our differences. It's a reminder of the ideals that our country stands for, which are freedom, justice, and the pursuit of happiness for all. Whether you're grilling out, enjoying a day off, or catching up on some much-needed rest, or like me, will be working, take a moment to consider the legacy of leadership in America. So as we enjoy this long weekend, or not so long for the rest of us, let's remember that it's not about the next great deal or the extra day off. It's about celebrating the office that represents our collective hope for a better future. Happy President's Day, everyone, and here's to hoping our leaders continue to strive towards those lofty ideals that make America great. Well, that wraps up our look at this week's news, folks. From the complexity of politics and economics to the joys of culture and nature, America's story is always unfolding in unexpected ways. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all of them. Also, come and engage with me on social media so we can keep the conversation going. No matter what your opinion is, I want to hear it. Thanks for tuning in to Just a Dude podcast. Until next time, keep being just a dude or a dudette living in this crazy, beautiful world. We'll see you on the next episode. Happy Valentine's Day.